Hey everybody, Daniel from Spacedock here. I wouldn't normally do this, but I'm trying out doing a sort of unscripted news blast thing, and they've just dropped the First Order Dreadnought and the new AT-M6 Walker for the Last Jedi. So I thought I'd do my opinions on those pretty quickly, because I'm kind of surprised by this. I'll talk about the Walker first. Of the two, I really like the Walker. It's very, very cool. It's a really nice development on the AT-AT design. A friend of mine pointed out to me right after the announcement, it looks like it could only shoot at other walkers with that gun on the top because of how high it is. This thing's supposed to be substantially larger than an AT-AT. But I feel like in the video, in the Star Wars show, which you can go and watch, I'll link in the description, they talk about how its entire leg structure is set up to stabilize it. So I think maybe it just kind of leans around and angles itself. Like, they describe it as an artillery piece. I think the whole vehicle is just a platform for this big cannon, really, and that's pretty interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing how they're employed in the film, perhaps because we know about those speeder attack on Crate that's going to be happening. It'll be cool to have stuff charging towards these things so we can get to see them properly unleashing over a long range. But I'm sure the Spacedock, what you all here to hear about is this Dreadnought that they've dropped, which I'm really surprised at. It is 7,669.72 meters long, which is pretty surprising. I mean, from what it is, I'm happy about it because it makes tons of sense, because the First Order shouldn't be building Goliath mega dreadnoughts like the Executor, because they're supposed to be like a fringe group, like an enclave. But because the Resurgent class was so much bigger than an Imperial class, I was sort of expecting the First Order Dreadnought to be this gargantuan, ridiculous 28,000 meter long ship, but I'm surprised they didn't do that. It's pretty cool. And which kind of brings me on to the point that I'm not sure if this is the mega Snoke flagship that everyone is immediately assuming it is, because to me this looks really specialized. I can't see any launch bays for fighters, and they only mention dorsal point defense in the video, but on the bottom it has massive orbital cannons. Like, I'm talking enormous. These things are the size of like Quasar Fire class carriers in themselves, probably larger. And I guess that's for planetary bombardment or something. I can't, either for planetary bombardment or for firing at massive stations and other things that can't move because they are manually aimed. So to me this seems like some kind of siege platform, the whole ship. Like, the whole ship is just an excuse to carry these huge cannons around. So maybe there'll be a First Order bombing a planet scene in The Last Jedi or something, and we'll see a few of these. I don't know. It's entirely possible that this is just Snoke's ship. But yeah, I'm kind of surprised that the ship that was carrying Snoke around seems to just be a pile of point defense and a big massive cannon, and no like medium scale weapons or launch bays. I mean, it might have those things. We've only seen a few angles of it. And it could also have those kind of like in the web work launch bays like the Resurgent has, which would make them hard to see. I kind of like the design overall. I don't like it nearly as much as the Resurgent. It's very straight-edged and triangular, and it has an enormous command tower. I don't really like the command tower, I have to say. It's far too wide. I don't really see why it couldn't just be connected to the bottom of the neck. Like, if you're going to have something that big, you might as well make it just an entire section of the ship going up. Although, I'm looking at the picture now, and there are two sort of turreted emplacements under it on either side, so maybe it does have some kind of medium weapons that they neglected to mention. In the Star Wars show, they call it a Mandator-IV class Dreadnought, and I'm almost certain that's a mistake. If I get some kind of confirmation, I'll pin it in the comments, but the reason I think it's a mistake is that there's a series of Dreadnoughts called Mandator class, of which there was a Mandator-I and a Mandator-II and a Mandator-III, which makes me think this is the Mandator-IV, but they've just mispronounced it in the video. But if I get confirmation on that, I'll let you know below. Another point I'd like to make is that you can see here there's this sort of concave dish in the center. I'm not sure what this is. I think maybe it could be a gravity well generator, or it could be that this ship does have launch bays and they're all in this circular bit, which would be fine. And entirely possible. But either way, I'm glad to see a new First Order design, and I kind of hope that this isn't the only new First Order warship in The Last Jedi. I'd like to see the kind of naval architecture of the First Order fleshed out a bit more. And if they did reveal that this was a specialized ship that was only intended to bomb big massive targets. That would be kind of cool. I'd have a lot of respect for that decision, because it would be pushing past the whole, and this is the next big massive ship that can do everything, and this is the even bigger ship that can do even more of everything kind of approach that we've had. And I kind of like it when ships have jobs to do and other ships have to accommodate for their weak spots and things. That's always fun. Like I said, I'm not a bigger fan of it as I am of the Resurgence, but overall it's pretty solid design, and I'm looking forward to seeing it in action. Let me know if you think this quick unscripted news burst idea is terrible, because it may well be. I am in no position to judge. But yeah, thanks for watching everybody, and I will see you in the next proper video.